Hi, everybody. I'm Big Al with Country Music News International. Today, we're going to talk with Karen Lee Batten from British Columbia, Canada. Karen, it's great to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Big Al.
You have come from humble beginnings to achieving some of the greatest in country music. And what I mean by that is, everybody, British Columbia Country Music Association's Female Artist of the Year, not one time, but 8 times. My goodness. Former top 10 Canadian Idol finalist. The list just keeps going on, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But you're really going to start 2024 off with a big bang. So, your humble beginnings. I'm just going to say a couple things karaoke and dad, and kind of brief us up on those humble beginnings to get you to where you're at today.
Yeah, I get asked that question quite a bit. How did it all start? And I, my first memory of music, like I was brought up in a pretty musical family. And it started in church, like most singers that I know, especially in country music. But my dad was in a Christian band named Assurance, where they cut a cassette tape. And I was such a proud little girl. I was probably my first memory would have been about 4 years old, maybe 3 years old, and sitting in the front row. And I always had, obviously drawn to music. You always wanted to memorize all the songs. And of course, you're hearing your dad sing the same songs over and over again. And he was the bass player. So I thought he was just so cool. And, I would sit front row and probably annoy pretty much everyone around me and sing those songs just as loud as I possibly could. And, almost showing off that, I know all the words because that's my dad. So it went from there to, I mean, my mom was in the choir. And then as soon as I could be in the choir, then I was in the children's choir. My first solo, I pulled my dress over my head in church because I guess I figured if I couldn't see the audience, they couldn't see me. That wasn't probably the best move. I was reminded of that later in a grocery store by a lovely old lady. um, and then it went on to school, being in, every choir, every band that I could possibly be in. I took up piano and alto saxophone and went on to be in, multiple bands before school, after school, during school, whatever I could do with music. I wasn't loving textbooks so much. So anything that I could actually succeed at and get a good grade, like most kids. And then when I got out of school, I wanted to be in the music field, but didn't really know kind of where that would be. Obviously you're trying to, make a living. So I was waitressing at the same time. And then when the opportunity came up for me to host karaoke in my hometown, I took that. And it was really interesting. I went on to host karaoke for, gosh, karaoke led me into DJing. So I went
Oh,
doing karaoke in my hometown, to getting married when I was 23. And that led it into Canadian Idol, and I still did karaoke and then DJ'd at the local bar. It just kind of wanting to only do music. I wanted to just make sure that I filled my time with just music, and I kind of stopped the waitressing thing and then took on anything that I could that would put some money in my pocket, but would have me just be in the music industry. And after Canadian Idol, things took off a little bit bigger.
they sure did. Also, want to mention your two guests with us today. Nobody can see them yet, but they might, and that is Whiskey and Lulu. So, folks, get ready. We might hear a performance from them before we get finished up.
You never know. They like to come on board here quite a
Well,
bit.
that's great. That's great. Great friends, that's for sure. Karen, you've got a website. That's KarenLeeBatten.com. Of course, anybody can catch you on any of the download platforms. We want to get that out right now. Facebook, along with all the downloads that you've had on a couple singles. That was one released in 2020 and one that was released in 2022. Fantastic songs. But we're not here to really talk about them. We're here to talk about a brand new single that's going to release Friday, January 20. I'm sorry, Friday, January 5th. I was thinking 2024. That's right. You're going to come in 2024 with a bang. And the video is going to drop on YouTube as well. And the song, The Trouble with Friends. and that's going to be a title track of your fourth album. So I give you a lot to talk about there. Tell us about Trouble with Friends. And by the way, I watched the video. And folks, this song, you can go from a campfire in the Canadian Rockies to a great bar in your favorite hometown, and you'll feel just as great. It's a super song, Karen.
Thank you so much. Thank you so, so much. Going back to the beginning of this song, writing this song, I wrote it with a buddy of mine, Jeff Johnson, who's just absolutely brilliant. He's one of those people that you sit down and just go, how in the world did you come up with that like that quickly? But he draws it out of you, in a writing session. And I looked at him one day and I said, I want to write a song that's literally just about your local watering hole. Like, and whether it's a bar or it's a restaurant or, whatever the case may be, it's that place that you can go into where if you stay long enough, you're going to run into like Mike and Sally and Billy, because they're probably coming through the door at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock or whatever the case may be. And you might have gone in to, go have brunch with a girlfriend. And all of a sudden it's last call and you've been asking, one more than the bill about 4 times, right? So, I think for me, it extended a little bit more than, just going and drinking at your bar, but to like, that's what matters, like all of those friends in my life that I can come off the road or, come off doing, a bunch of shows or let's say that I've done a big show in one town and I'm close to home and I'm going to come home, that afternoon or that evening or whatever. And I can go to that place and I know I'm going to walk in and I'm going to see somebody that I know. And they're not going to go, oh my word, it's Karen Lee Batten. They're just going to go, hey girl, what's up? Come on over here and, sit down, have a drink. And I just love that, we all have that place, or those group of friends that, and it could be 1 or 5 or 10 or what have you, but that you can call up and have a good long conversation that might turn from 11 o'clock into 9 at night, and you just pick out where you left off. And so for me, it was just it's a feel good song, but I do have that local watering hole here and I love it to death. So going there is just kind of like a normal part of the week, maybe once a week, sometimes more than that.
So the song, The Trouble with Friends, let's talk about the video for a minute and what everybody might expect to see in the video. Now, if I remember, as I was reading up on this and watching it at the same time, all those people in the video, that is your friends. That's not actors.
None of them are. I did it at a Christmas tree farm about 30 minutes away from where I live. And you'll laugh, the Christmas tree farm is owned by one of the regulars in the restaurant. So even the location, my makeup artist has been my one of my best friends, one of my very close friends for about 3 or 4 years now. We were together quite a bit, so we learned to be very good friends. She's the bartender. The waitress is my best friend for years, 20 years. I've got 3 or 4 best friends that are in there as well. My brother's in there, my sister-in-law is in there. I've got 2 bandmates that are in there as well. And then the rest of the people are friends from that bar.
All being stars.
I know, right?
It is.
And 90% of them have never seen a camera, never been behind a camera before. So I think they all did really, really good. We had a blast.
Yeah, I can tell that. Yeah, a lot of great people. So you got your own personal support in music. So let's talk a minute here about your team. That video was shot. It was great. I mean, it must have been in HD. So who came up with shooting that video in different places and mention some of your team that's working with.
For sure. So Jasper Anson is my publicist. Him and I work together daily. So we are, we're conversing. It doesn't matter where I am in the world. We'll make sure that we touch base at least, once every other day. And we kind of power through ideas first, right out of the gate. And his company's Nova Current. And then the last 3 videos, including this video, is Megan Gips with Gips Media. And her and I came up with all of it, other than what kind of the preliminary with Jasper. I co-produced on the video, and she directed and produced the video, and I came up with the location and all the actors and all the props and everything else. And then her and I just kind of went back and forth on a treatment and synopsis and came up with what we thought a good idea would be. And she blows my mind, like I can only kind of go so far, and then she'll go, well, what do you think about, X, Y, and Z? And I'm like, oh my word, Kate, I never thought about that, and so I keep going back to her because she really is truly amazing. And she's just a young girl that is just on fire. She's just awesome.
This young talent, these youngins that are coming up, they just got so much talent in them. I remember back when I was young, and I don't think I had that much. Still don't, but boy, they certainly just keep right on going, don't they?
You do too. You have talent in other ways. On TikTok, I still haven't figured that out. So, I have catching up to do too.
TikTok, I still can't. I've got a video or two on there, and I still can't figure that one out. And then when I look at Instagram, it's like, okay, how do I find what I'm looking for right here? And I'm on my own little thing, so I can't figure that out either. I thought, what the heck? People will find it no matter what.
The minute we figure it out, there's going to be a new platform.
For the older folks, but I am older. You're just a young lady, and you've accomplished a lot. Over a million on Spotify. Holy cow! I wouldn't know what to think if somebody would look at my. Well, you got a pretty face, but my ugly face on Spotify, or whatever. I'm just kind of throwing something out there. You get a little smile out of you every now and again. But I do want to mention your 2023 awards. Everybody says, well, I won these awards. No, you received them. You received them because you have done extraordinary things. Business Professional of the Year, Don Adams Industry Supporter of the Year, I should say industry, and County Event of the Year. So or Country Event of the Year, excuse me. Now you see, there comes out my hillbilliness that in the background. I got to kind of cover that up a little bit. So, so let's talk about the album for 2024. Once again, the title track, everybody, it dropped January 5th. You can check out the video on YouTube, go to all the download platforms, KarenLeeBatten.com. But the title track of the album is this single, The Trouble with Friends. Is the other two singles from a couple years ago going to be on that album? Can you give us a little insight on the album upcoming?
They are, yes. Actually, I was super, super blessed to receive support from BC, from the province that I live in. And I can't even express that enough, because especially as an independent artist, you are out there and you're hustling, and every dollar matters. And to be able to, have the province look at what I'm doing and think that it's enough and important enough to fund and help out someone like me, it's priceless for me. So they supported the last two singles and including the last two videos, and they have continued to support the next whole batch of songs that I have coming out, and including the release of the album, which is incredible. So I know, I feel like that too. And every time I say it, I'm like, is it weird to cry about things, to tear up about things like that? But it's just such a blessing. It really is. I know this all sounds super cheesy, but anyone that's an independent artist or trying to get out there doing an independent company could only imagine, that feeling, just having that support. So yes, Drinking Song was the last single. Too Strong came out as well. Both of them have videos that paired with that. And then, like you said, we dropped the video for The Trouble with Friends tomorrow. And then there's some more secrets coming down the pipe in the next few months, and with a album release to follow.
I think it's going to be a very big album release. It will make me a part of getting a chance to talk with you. I've enjoyed our conversation very much. I think I'm going to use the word extraordinary again, and I haven't used that word quite a bit here in the past few months, but to have the whole providence behind you, and I can understand why. Just a bubbly, sweet young lady. I think that's great. And the talent is just immaculate. It's just amazing. And I just hope people will take a moment and go over to YouTube and check out that brand new single, The Trouble with Friends, and we'll be on the outlook for the new album and go download it. All the download platforms, KarenLeeBatten.com. Karen Lee, it has just been fantastic to talk to you.
Thank you, you as well. I really, oh man, this has been so much fun. And I mean, as an artist, we get to do a lot of interviews, but there's some that stand out, and yours will definitely stand out to me. It's been great getting to know you.
I'm just an old hillbilly boy from over here in the mountains trying to get to Los Angeles. I've thumbed a time or two, and I've never been able to get there yet. So anyway, I've turned around and always come home. But maybe I'll get a chance to come up to British Columbia. I'd love to come back there and go through the Canadian Rockies, and it's the most beautiful place on earth as far as I'm concerned.
It really is gorgeous. We do have a lot of sights to see. So you got to come up and see all the green and see the mountains and the lakes and the ocean and our moose and bear and and Whiskey, who seems to be coming to life again. Come here, come see me.
There he is. Whiskey. Hey, Whiskey. Hey, buddy.
He's like
He's a little bashful, looks like.
I
Mama's
know.
going to give him a hug and take care of it. Karen Lee, Karen Lee Batten, thank you so much for being on Country Music News International.
Thank you so much for having me, Big Al. I really appreciate you.
I appreciate you and your wonderful music. KarenLeeBatten.com. Pick it up on your downloads right now.